All right, my guys. What's going on with the modern dating scene? What's up? How are the dating apps going? Why are so many young men lonely, not talking to women, not dating? There's something here. There's really something here. And I don't normally talk about this. I haven't talked about this, but it's something that is alive for me right now that I wanted to speak to. Now, if you're new here, my name is Blake. I'm a life coach. I'm 25. I am figuring out how to do this whole life thing and, yeah, exploring the potential of what's really possible. And this topic is one that's really close to home because it's personal for me as well. To be candid, I haven't been with anyone romantically in like a year, and I'm 25, which are the years that culture says, the best years of your life where everyone's sleeping around and everyone's getting around and yada, yada, yada. And that might be true for a lot of people. There definitely is these petri dishes of people who everyone's sleeping with everyone and, they're in their mid 20s and they're getting around and they'll look back as these years where they were just dating everyone and sleeping around with everyone. But then I think there's a lot of other people, myself included, who are not in that petri dish. And it's not like we're just complete weirdos sitting at home doing nothing all day long and we have no desire to be with anyone. But for whatever reason, that petri dish where everyone's getting with everyone also isn't us. And, we're seeing this within statistics and stuff, people in their 20s and whatnot who are just dating way less, having way less sex, yada, yada, yada. And I think it's a really interesting phenomenon that we're seeing that I wanted to talk about, that I wanted to share about because it's particularly alive for me right now. So I see clients doing one-on-one coaching work. A lot of people, a lot of guys around 18 to 20, 21. And it's definitely a pattern that I see in many of my clients where it's these awesome dudes, cool, kind-hearted, caring, which maybe that's the problem. Maybe we're too caring, Seems like some of those, the petri dish culture maybe doesn't want caring, sensitive dudes, kind of wants like these alpha bros who on Tinder, they're just in their workout shirts standing by their motorcycles and muscle cars and like, or whatever, or the kind of classic, I'm crushing it, kind of the Andrew Tate type dude. That kind of seems like that's what that subculture that I'm speaking about in the petri dish. That's kind of like what they want. And so, myself included, there's like a lot of dudes, who are, whatever, cool, good looking, have a lot of cool stuff going on in their life who aren't fitting that mold and aren't dating. And they've maybe been, maybe if you're like me, you've been like turned off by that. You're like, I don't want to just go to the bars every week and get fucked up and like try and sleep with a chick. Like, that's not my vibe. But I don't know where else is my vibe. I don't know where to go. Where are the kind of women that I want to be hanging out with and getting with? Where are they hanging out, type of thing. And yeah, so I think there's a lot of people who don't fit that mold who are a bit lost, and there's not really a clear direction. And this leads to, people like me who haven't been romantic with anyone in literally a year. And if that's you, like, I just want to say it's okay. I definitely have moments of feeling shameful about that. Like I should, because of that cultural expectation, I should be doing that. There's something wrong with me because I'm not. Maybe I'm broken. Maybe I'm just hiding. Maybe I'm just scared to talk to women. Maybe yada, yada, yada. And there's a lot of cultural pressure there, It's like you still have a girlfriend. You still, like, everyone else around you seems to be having a girlfriend. Everyone else around you seems to be meeting their wife. There's a lot. And I think there's many moments where I'm able to just be like, yeah, I'm not, it's cool. And frankly, like, I've been focusing on tons of other stuff that maybe I wouldn't have been able to focus on as much if I did have a girlfriend. And like, I want a girlfriend. I want a girlfriend. And I'm excited about it. So all that to say, I think for the most part, I am able to be like, yeah, I haven't been with a girl in a year and whatever, it's okay. But then there's also moments, where it gets to me, and feel like I should, and there's a feeling like I'm missing out on my life, and I'm like throwing away the quote unquote golden years that other people seem to be having these amazing experiences and experimenting and in the aliveness of dating and all this, and I'm just like, what do I do, kind of thing. Because I don't go out to bars, and I don't necessarily have a ton of in-person things that I go to, which I totally could do more of. 100% I could do more of, but I can tend to be a recluse and whatnot. Unscripted. How many videos are you seeing these days where someone pauses and takes a fucking sip of their smoothie in the middle? Not much. That's how you know it ain't AI. And you see my eyes looking left and right and not always just right fucking there. Not AI. When you see the eyes that are like this the whole video, it's probably AI. Anyway, all this to say, so, what do we do? What's up with that? And if you're like me, maybe you've tried the dating apps and they didn't go so great. And I'm just going to speak from my personal experience, which it's a bit edgy to share, and it feels useful. When I would go on the dating apps in the past, for the most part, I would get on them when I was looking for a hookup, looking for, one night stand, someone that I don't actually, necessarily care about, if I was to be honest. And, so when I'm scrolling through the apps, I'm very much looking at a body versus a human. And, when I'm looking through the profile, I'm not looking at someone that like, oh, wow, I would genuinely love to get to know this person and grow a connection with and nurture a relationship with. No, it's like, is this person someone that I want to hook up with? That's the truth. Because I would go on the apps when I'm already in that space. So I'm already in that headspace. And then, I'd maybe last on the app for about a day, 2 days. maybe I'd buy the pro version to get my profile out there and end up canceling the subscription like 3 days later and nothing, no luck, no anything. So that's one thing that I think the dating apps haven't worked. The other is that I was really bad at being myself on the dating apps. So again, it seems like this subculture of like the hookup scene, it very much is selecting for a certain kind of person who's presenting themselves in a certain kind of way. It's like this alpha male Andrew Tate kind of vibe. And that's not me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm for sure an alpha. Like, for sure an alpha. Just way cooler than Andrew Tate. That's what I'm saying. No, but you know what I mean. And so I would have a hard time just being myself when I'm writing my profile, when I'm putting the pictures and whatnot. And the pictures that I'm putting are also coming from that same like hookup culture place where it's just like, the way that I'm seeing other people just as bodies on the app, I'm also seeing myself that way in the way that I'm presenting. Like I'm just a fucking body, And so, yeah, I would always just feel weird because what would happen is if I see these people in person, my profile was not fully authentic and reflective of me because I thought that people wouldn't like me if I was just myself on these apps and like fully authentic to me. Because I'm not like that. I'm not like Andrew Tate. I love reading fantasy books. I actually prefer early mornings and my morning coffee versus late nights at a bar. I don't drink that much. I'm not like full on fucking TikTok, whatever. I'm not in that kind of normal mainstream mold of like people in their mid-20s partying, getting fucked up every weekend, trying to, go home with each other. Like, I love to go on hikes. I love nature. I meditate. I'm obsessed with learning. I make these kinds of videos. I'm obsessed with self-improvement. I'm a life coach. Like, these are the things, and I would have a hard time like presenting that through because it is different. It is different. It is unique. and I wasn't empowered in that. So anyway, there was also this weird tension because if I did go on a date with one of these women, like I presented myself as someone different on the profile. So now when I'm in person, what am I going to do? You know, am I going to be myself, or am I going to uncomfortably try and be someone else, or, you know, so that was just a weird thing. But again, if I'm just presenting myself as some body, then who cares about the person within the body kind of vibe. Mm. And so all of this to say, where is this going? Why is this alive for me right now? It's alive for me because I recently got back on the apps, and I was on Tinder, and it just like wasn't fully vibing with it, wasn't really loving it. But I got on Tinder back with the intention that, okay, I'm gonna treat the apps differently. I'm not just going on when I'm desperate for a hookup. I'm not gonna present myself differently. And it's been like a year or so since I've even touched an app like this. I've never spent more than a couple days on it. First of all, it's not like I've ever done that, and I've never actually made like a connection through it. Never got on a date. I barely ever even got into a text conversation. Maybe the algorithm hates me, you know? And so I was on Tinder, but I was going with the intention, one, like, this is just me. This is my profile. This is who I am. You know, I'm going to be me. Also, with the intention to experiment. And I'm not just talking experimenting sexually. I'm just experimenting, getting myself out there with different people. Go on dates, have fun, even if they're not the person. And this brings me to a really important point for myself, which is that, like, I know the kind of partner that I want to have and that I will have. Like, I know how incredible it is. Like, she's incredible. Our relationship is incredible. It's unique. It transcends how most people are in a relationship with one another. And I know it's like, yeah, I can feel it. The bar is so high there. And I'm not there yet. And I feel like there's been this, like, I'm on one mountaintop looking to the next mountaintop across a valley. And I've been like waiting to get to that mountaintop without realizing that I actually need to go into the valley to get there, if that makes any sense at all. So I have this idea of like the perfect, most beautiful partner and relationship, yada, yada. And I'm kind of like waiting for that to come because a lot of this other hookup culture and whatnot just isn't really me. But there's something so important about getting in the energy of dating, getting in the energy of intimacy and just putting yourself out there in this kind of way versus sitting at home waiting for it to happen. And so that was, I think, part of the inspiration, part of this like wave that I caught to get back on the apps. I was like, let's just have fun. Let's just go experiment. And there's such a growth process there. There's such a growth process for me, at least around just like being fully myself, being fully myself. Also, just being more in my power as a man, because intimate relationships is the most incredible teacher ever. Like you think you've gotten pretty far in life. Okay, go get in a relationship. You'll be humbled. And you probably know that idea. And so it's such a good arena to just like for self-discovery and growth and things like this. And again, being yourself when the connection's not there, being willing to accept that and not do gymnastics to make the connection work, but just being okay with being like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work. I don't think we're for each other. This was a fun evening, but that's that, I hope you enjoy your life kind of thing. And then also, there will be some wins. You will find some people and maybe they're not your end all be all, but there is a growth process. And I think about it like you're climbing a ladder. And so for me, like the kind of relationship that I'm dreaming into, that's this next mountaintop, like it also requires a certain version of me, like we're attracting people that we're actually like able to meet in a way based on where we're at within our own internal growth process. It's no coincidence the people that we end up with. And And I know that I have growing to do to really meet that person where she's at. And so, yeah, I see this kind of valley, this entering the dating arena again as like this, um, starting to climb that ladder, getting my chops on, and yeah, just really a great self-discovery process. A great moment for growth, and it's exciting. I think there's a way to, it's scary and there's going to be nerves and all this, but it's also exciting to get out there and meet people and see where it goes. And maybe one of these people is like a new best friend for you, or maybe it leads to some business opportunity, and maybe you do find the one. My brother actually, his girlfriend of like 4 years, completely in love, is he met on Hinge. So fuck yeah. Back to what I was saying about being on Tinder though. So I went on with this new thing, and I'm not just on there trying to find the hookup, but like actually looking at these people beyond just their body that I want to get with, and like really trying to feel that. And it was okay, like, but what I'll get to in a second is like, it's because it was Tinder for me. Because 2 days ago, I re-downloaded Hinge, which I had tried very briefly in the past, and it was such a qualitative difference for me. And I think these apps are different depending on where you live, but where I live, like Hinge was such a massive difference. It felt like people wanting to relate with people, not just bodies wanting to hook up with bodies. And um and yeah, and I had so much fun like changing my profile and just being fully me, and not presenting as this body, but like just audaciously being like, this is who the fuck I am. Many of you will look at this and be like, this dude's kind of different and kind of weird and not for me. But then there's other people who be like, this dude's kind of different, kind of weird and unique, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. And there's something exciting and alive about that. And and there's probably many people, many women, whatever, who are in the same boat, and maybe they're not presenting themselves so fully on the app, and they are weird and eccentric and yada yada. So I've had so much fun with it, and I'm really excited to get into this energy of experimentation and putting myself out there and just being in like the field of dating, because there is a wave of momentum that is created when you do that, something like this. When you get into that energy and you're doing the thing, there's a wave of momentum that does something to you, that does something in your life. That is like, if you believe that we all have when someone walks into a room and you feel their kind of energy, their field, you can feel this person. I think that's like the momentum I'm talking about. You can feel that in people. And so there is something to be said, I think, in the realm of dating and whatnot, of someone who's really out there, who's meeting people, who's excited about it, yada, yada. And I just heard a story from my mom, actually, about a friend that she has who, same thing, she had a hard time on the dating apps for a long, long time. Then she decided to get back on it, but she did it differently. She did it for her. And she was like seeing multiple people at the same time, not like having sex, but seeing them and just really having fun and like wearing the outfits for her and stuff like this. And then she got off the apps after like having a good experience on it. And a couple weeks later, like met the person that she's still with now. But she says the same thing. There's something about that kind of wave of energy, that momentum that's built through being excited and getting out there. And that's where I'm at. So I'm going to keep the loop open and definitely report back to all of you about this, because I think it's going to be exciting, I think it's going to be an exciting thing. And so wish me luck as I enter the valley. I wish all of you luck as you enter your valley. And let's get this. Let's do it, because, if you're resonating with my story at all, you deserve to meet awesome, incredible people and to have amazing experiences. And you're probably a really cool person with a lot to say, who cares really deeply, who hasn't exactly had experiences that have reflected back to you that the way that you care, your sensitivity, is extremely valuable and beautiful. And maybe you don't meet that perfect mold of that hookup culture petri dish. And maybe that's okay. Maybe there's nothing wrong with that. So I'll leave it there for now. And if you made it this far, congrats. Thank you. It's meaningful. And yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments and whatnot. And if this was valuable at all to you, please do leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And therefore, you'll get to see the next video. You get to see how my dating goes, which I think will be pretty exciting.